First of all, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come to the webinar. We had a lot of requests for WOVE from different offices on how to use it, where is it going, troubleshooting. So today with us, we have Sommer Lyons and Denver Carlson from the WOVE team on with CIR. We're going to start out with, there will be a question and answer at the end of the session. So Sommer, Denver, take it away.
Do you want to start, Denver, or you want me to start?
I guess I'll start and talk a little bit. Favorite thing to do. Denver Carlson here, work with data integrity, CR statements. Summer here is the supervisor on our CR statements team. She's going to walk us through some best practices, things like that. She works with me, so she's really great with interruptions. If she's speaking on a topic and you want to know more in that topic, I think that benefits everybody. Feel free to raise your hand. Summer's good at redirecting and kind of coming back to those topics for you. Summer, can I go
Okay,
ahead and
I will share my screen here. I want to start out by pointing out at CIR2, you do have access to a lot of different just some information. So if your clients are struggling logging into the system, if you go to CIR2, go to Financial Solutions and to CIR Statements, we do have some client-facing information that's out here. So if you have, like I said, if you have problems with certain clients that are logging in, you can send them some resources. And we also have some user guides out here for the financial professionals, some videos that we've already recorded, um, just all sorts of stuff out here. We're also creating some short videos on just specific things, creating manual accounts, creating groups, uh, just a lot of different short videos so you don't have to be stuck listening to me in a webinar format. Um, or if you want to be in a webinar, we do have those live the last Tuesday of every month at 3 p.m. Central Time, I believe it is. Yes, Central Time. So you can always sign up for one of those. We go through front to back. So if you have new admin coming on, or if you just want to refresh yourself on how the system works, feel free to join us on one of those. Love to have you. So um, you can sign up for that here at CIR2. You are also, I think there's information sent out in the Cambridge Weeklies, so you can find where to sign up for those there as well. But okay, so we'll go ahead and look at CIR statements. I do have just our test financial professional here. We start out with just your client list. Everything's here. You can sort these columns in order. So if you don't like that it's sorted by market value, you can sort by client name, sort by number of accounts. All of these lists are fully able to be downloaded. So if you're looking for something specific and you want it in an Excel format, absolutely come out here and download these. You can do it on the client level, the account level, and also on the group level. We get a lot of phone calls where financial professionals say, I can't find this account. I'm sure it was here. I don't know where it's at. Sometimes the product company will send the account without a client name. So you may have a button here that says unnamed clients. You can always come here and check and see, do I have any clients that data's feeding in, but the name's not there for some reason? All you would have to do is click on that client name and update their client profile. We get that question on the daily, I would say. So, or just not being able to find an account because it's coming in under the business name, you can always go to the accounts tab and search for the last four or the full account number, but the last four will work. And it will bring up any account that has that last four digits or the combination of those last four digits in the account number. And then you'll easily see, oh, it's coming in under the business name or something along those lines. So it's a big question we get a lot. So we will go ahead and take a look here. Creating groups, we get this question a lot. How do I create groups within CIR statements? And CIR statements is a standalone program. If you've created groups in other programs, you'll always need to come here and also create those groups. The nice thing about it is groups are instant now. It used to be an overnight refresh. So we are thrilled to say that you don't have to wait overnight anymore for those. So we'll go ahead and there's so many different ways to create groups. I can create a group by clicking up here in the upper right-hand corner. I can choose a client from my client list, or we've got this kebab menu here at the end. I always like to start with a client rather than going to create group, because if I start here, I'm starting from scratch. I have to put both clients in and that's awesome. Sorry about that. I have to put both clients in and, just make sure I've done everything properly. Well, if I start here and go to create group, I'm already starting with the client that I selected the create group from. So Jeremy Booth here. And so his accounts are already in there. I'm just going to create a Steinbeck Booth household. And so what I need to do, so first things first, you give the group a name, and then I'm going to choose the other person from that group to add in, or multiple people. So Jeremy's already there, so I'm going to type in Steinbeck. There's Sommer Steinbeck. Excuse me. So I have all the accounts here. Keep in mind, if I just check off individual client accounts and don't check by name, this is a hard stop. So any new accounts that Sommer were to open would not automatically be added to this household. But if I check next to name, any new accounts that I open will automatically be added to this household. So I'll say add accounts. And now we can see that Jeremy and Sommer are in this household together. This is an important step. Allow clients to view group. If you're allowing clients to log in, they're going to want to see their household. So I would definitely say yes. And even if you're not allowing them to sign in now, if you say yes, then you don't have to remember to go back later once you've given them access and change this radio button. But it can be changed. You're not having to start over when you invite them to use the system. You're just going to edit that group. So you can add a model or you can add benchmarks at this time. And once you're ready, you're going to say create. So now I know that this group has been made. I can go straight to run reports. And I can choose that Steinbeck Booth household and run reports for this immediately. If I'm on the client overview and scroll down, I will also see that Steinbeck group here in just a minute. It takes a minute for this part to update, but you can run reports immediately. But I would say within the next minute or two, that Steinbeck Booth household will be updated. Let's see. Another new feature within CIR statements is the quick account switcher. So at Ignite last year, many financial professionals had a chance to meet with Pershing, and they did express that, they wanted to easily be able to toggle between accounts on the dashboard without opening a new tab every time. So now you're able to go, all right, I want to look at all accounts. I'm going to change it to a different account. Just an individual. And so now we're looking at JD Bank. I can go down to test Jeremy, and it's not opening a new tab every time. Eventually, we'll have this as an option for groups as well. So if you have multiple groups under a client, you can toggle between those groups as well. I believe that release date is May the 28th. So that was definitely something that was heard at Ignite last year and has been updated now, so you are able to toggle between those accounts. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. So next thing I want to talk about is client access. So this is a really great way for you to customize what your clients are seeing. So you all know you've got clients from one end of the spectrum to the other. Some clients, the more information you give them, the harder it is for them to understand everything that they're seeing. So you can definitely change what their access is. So if I'm logged in, I'm going to go up to admin and client access. Now, if you're an admin, you're going to want to choose which financial professional you're doing this for. So you're always going to choose from your admin list or from your advisor list which financial professional you're looking at to do this. But once I have gone to that client access, this is where my active clients live. So you're going to see a list of all of your clients that currently log into the system. You're going to see their client name, their ID, and what current access they use. So limited access is basically nothing. That's for clients that want to be in a batch job, and we will get to batch jobs, but don't want to log in and see everything else. They just want to get that emailed batch job once a month, log in and see their report that you're sending them. I don't see you using limited access a ton, but it is an option. And then default is everything. So if you've created reports, if you have any of the canned reports from Allbridge, they're all going to be available for that client to see. So I'm going to go to the client access role list. This is where all of my roles are. This is my different options. I'm going to delete a couple of these so I can rename some the same. So I'm going to go over to create client access, and I'm going to call this basic access. And do I want them to see everything on their dashboard? This is the asset allocation information, the holdings information, and activity. I'm going to say yes, I want them, but you can take these off and just have activity, or you can just have holdings. It's completely up to you. But for this situation, I'm going to say all three options are available. And then what reports do you want to have available for this access? Holdings by investor is always going to be checked off, but I can choose anything else that I've got canned from Allbridge. And then what time frames do you want? I'm going to say you can select all, that's fine. Or you can say since start date, we'll do 1 quarter trailing, 1 year trailing, and last year. And once you have those options all selected, you're going to submit that. And so now we see that basic access that we just created. So if I went to go back to my client list, let me find a new client here in the system. If I wanted to invite South Denver, I would send invite. And I can choose when entering their email address which role I want them to have. So I want them to go with that basic access. And then I would enter their email and scroll down and send that invitation. So now when they log in, they only see what you've given them access to. They don't know what they're missing. And if someday they called in and said, I want more, I want to see additional things, you can always update their role within that client access tab. So Tara Armstrong has new May access. If I wanted to change that to basic, I can easily do that. Just make sure if you make changes here, you submit those changes. You can also make that your default role. So if every time you want to invite someone, you want them to have basic access, I can say, all right, that's my default. I'll submit that. And then when I go back and invite South Denver, and send the invite, it's automatically changed to basic, so I don't have to remember to toggle through those and invite them to something I didn't mean to. I would just put their email address in and send that invite. So definitely would be playing around with that if you're inviting your clients and letting them use the system. Tons of different roles are available. You can tailor to specific clients and call it, a client name if you wanted to. Completely up to you. Easily edited or deleted. So if I go back to that client access, and I see that basic role, I can edit it or delete it entirely. But so if I edit this and say, you know what, I'm going to add a couple more reports to it, holdings by investor detail, portfolio snapshot summary, and save that. And now anytime they log in, they're going to see those additional reports that you've just given them access to. So I would definitely play around in there and, really customize your client's experience. So while we're looking up here, let's go to admin again, and we're going to go to client settings under report settings. Here's another way for me to really customize my experience, the client's experience. I can say, all right, every time I go run a report for a client, I want to see that portfolio snapshot summary. And for 1 quarter trailing. Now, important thing to remember, if you're doing a report that requires a time frame, that you put in a time frame here. If you don't have that, you're going to get an error every time you log into the system, or every time you try to run a report for a client. So if you're choosing just a daily report, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a time frame in here. But if you're choosing a report that requires a time frame, you need to make sure that that's selected. Account number display. If you give your client accounts nicknames, you can choose to have those nicknames show up on the reports, and I'll show you how to do that. So right here, I've got account display settings. I went to account name. Nice thing is if you choose to have names and you haven't had a chance to give all the accounts nicknames yet, it will default to the client account number. So it's not like just going to be blank. So account name is a great feature. And I know I can't tell the difference between my accounts. So when I get something in the mail, I'm like, well, I don't know if that's my account, my husband's account. So being able to say, oh, this is Sommer's or this is Rogers is a great way for you to customize your client's reports. You can also say, when I log in and run a report, I want to see these top 5 reports show up first. And that way, if I know I'm always running the portfolio summary report, it's always going to be in my top 5. And you can edit these. Just make sure that any changes you make here, you submit those changes. We also get a lot of calls about insurance detail. When you first log into the system, I think that in screen it's expanded, but these are both collapsed. And so when you're running a report and you're seeing all these insurance details for annuities, and then you're not getting it when you're printing them and you're not seeing it when you're exporting those reports, it's because these are collapsed. So you can definitely come in here and expand those also, and just, again, submit your changes. So we talked about giving accounts nicknames. The best way to do that is to choose which client you want to nickname their accounts. And so I'm just choosing a client from the list. And in the left-hand navigation, we're going to edit client information, edit all accounts. And occasionally you may suppress an account by accident. You may close an account. We get a lot of calls about that. This is another place for you to correct those as well. So if you think that account should be viewable and it's not, you can always come in here and make sure it's not been, put into a closed or suppressed status. You can only do that for clients if they have other accounts. So if they only have one account and you accidentally suppress it or close it, you'll have to open a case with us and we'll get that corrected for you. But here we've already nicknamed these accounts. So you can call them whatever you want them to be. Sommer's IRA, Sommer's, anything. You can give them nicknames and then just save those changes. And that way, when you run a report, and let's go run a report for Jeremy here. So we see the account nickname is showing up here. So account number also shows up. So it's not like it's not there at all. But we've got JD Bank, Test Jeremy, Test. And so all of those accounts that have values will show up with their account name also. So if I run portfolio snapshot, let's just do account performance. So it gives you here the account name and the account number also. So great way for you to customize those reports for your clients and make sure that they understand which accounts which, especially if the account numbers are all with the same product company, they all look exactly the same. So definitely suggest using that. So let's go back here to this main page and talk about these buttons across the top. We've got reports, client reports. So any report that I've recently ran is going to show up here in this client reports tab. We did just run a report here for Sommer Steinbeck. We've also got the batch jobs here. Batch jobs are a way for you to send customized reports on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis. So you have 10 clients that come into your office once a quarter. You can have reports printed at your office and ready for them when they walk in the door, without having to individually go into these 10 clients and run the same report for them every time. So if I choose batch jobs tab and I go over to create new batch job, first thing we want to do is give the batch job a name. And then are we going to email these or are we going to print these? So you have to decide, and you can only have 25 clients per batch. Keep that in mind. These are going to be for my clients that walk in the door once a quarter and want to have something when they walk in. So I'm going to say these are going to be printed, and printed batch jobs are your responsibility. It's not like we're going to print them here and send them out to the client. You are printing them at the office and having them ready. Is this going to be a recurring batch job or just a one-time deal? So I'm going to say recurring. I want this to be ready every quarter. So we're going to choose a report period. I'm going to do last quarter runs quarterly, but there's a lot of options here. And then what report do we want to have in this batch job? My favorite's the portfolio snapshot summary. So we'll choose that. Landscape portrait, select sort order. It's kind of a funny option for a printed batch job. I don't know why social security number or zip code be an option, but you have those as options. Last name is what I'll choose. And then you can start checking off clients from your client list. So once I have the clients in the batch job, and I want to make sure that Jeremy Booth is in here, I can say next. All right, so we've got the clients that we've got checked off for this batch job, and then you choose which group you want to have part of the batch. So there's that Steinbeck Booth household that we created earlier. And once you have those selected, you're going to submit. So now we see that Sommer test that we just created. This is going to be ready about the 6th day after the end of the quarter. So you'll come into this batch job area and this PDF will be illuminated. You can click on that. It's going to download and you can print them off from your office. if I want to edit this or delete it at any time, super easy. I can click on the batch job name, and maybe I want to add a few more clients to this. So I'm just going to say edit and say, all right, I'm going to add a few people here. Once I've got that done, I can say next and submit. So now those additional clients will be part of that batch job. I can also delete it at any time. So maybe I decide this batch job just wasn't what I thought it was going to be and I want to start from scratch. I can click on that batch job name, delete, say OK. And now it's no longer in my way for me to create a new batch job when I'm ready. So next tab here is the report designer. I love the report designer. I don't know if a lot of financial professionals even know it's an option. So this is a way for you to take a canned report that's from Allbridge and make small changes to it. So, or just build something completely from scratch. That's also an opportunity. So you can create a new report from scratch. This is starting you with a blank slate. You can give the report a name. If we have your logo, this is just a placeholder showing you where it's going to be. If we don't have your logo, but you have one, send it to us. We'll get it updated on your reports right away. So I can say I want the portfolio return, asset category information. I can add a section here and drag over holdings and then save this report. I'm just going to call it Sommer test. And so now I can go out and run that Sommer test for any of my clients. What I like to do and what's a great feature is that you're able to start with a base report from Allbridge. I always say that portfolio snapshot summary is my favorite. So let's just choose that one and make some edits to it. So I'm going to take the gain loss section out. I always run a report for last quarter. So it's silly to have the selected period be last quarter and then also have a column for last quarter because this information is all going to be the same. So let's take out that last quarter section. And we'll just apply that change. And now it's going to be, I thought I just did that. So now it's last quarter, year to date, last year, and since start date. I don't really care to have the benchmark information there either. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove those benchmarks from there. So now it won't print on the report. And then we've got the value and performance graph. I don't want to have the benchmarks there either. So we'll just go ahead and apply that change. And then we've got the account performance information here. I don't want to have the total percent column, so I'm going to take that out. And then I'm going to add last quarter. Well, no, that'd be silly because that's what I run the report for. So I'll add last month to the report as well. So I just took out a column and replaced it with something else. And then I don't care for a pie chart. I'm going to go with a circle graph. So I make that change. And then not only do I want to have this part here, I want to go ahead and add a section and bring over the comparative holdings. So now I've got those two selections or those two pages created. And I will call this Sommer May 19. So now any client that I go run a report for, and because I'm in a demo region, it's not great information, but we'll go ahead and run that report. If I click on the client, and go to run report, that Sommer May 19 will be there. and it's for 1 quarter trailing. And so now I can preview that report, and it's going to be the portfolio snapshot summary, everything I expect to have out of that portfolio snapshot summary. And then it's going to have the comparative holdings information. So just like everything else in the system, everything is easily edited or deleted. So I could go back to the client reports and go to that report designer. And we have that summer 19. I can use that pencil and make changes to this report, add sections, delete sections, whatever. I can either save it as something else, like a Word document. So if I make, we'll just give this a different name. I'm going to take the word portfolio out and save. I can save the report as something else, or I can override what I already had in there. So just like a Word document. So that is the report designer. It's a great tool. I would definitely go in there and play around and see, how can you customize something specific for your clients that they'll really enjoy taking a look at. So also under reports, we've got advisor reports. This is a way for you to run reports across your entire book of business. So if you're curious, sorry, I don't know why I'm getting that error.
Greg, I see you have a question.
I do. If you're running those custom reports, do each of those reports then have to go to compliance to get approved?
No, they're already compliant, so that's fine. You can create those reports all you want, and you do not have to have them approved.
Thank you.
Mhm. So advisor reports, again, you can run reports across your entire book of business. You can create filters. I've created a filter under here for clients over the age of 72. So if you're just kind of getting an idea of where things stand, this is not a great place for RMD reports. I want to make that very clear. But you can get a kind of a starting point. So I created this filter so all clients over the age of 72 will show up here in my client list. I can also export this into Excel. Maybe I want just master client information with addresses so I can send Christmas cards. I clicked the wrong one. So I could export the list. It's going to have their addresses, email addresses, all sorts of information. That one's only exportable. You can't run it in screen, but it will export it right into Excel. So you can create labels for the cards or anything like that. My favorite report here, and here's the Excel that just finally opened. So you can see we've got name, address, all the information, business phone, email addresses, social security numbers, and date of birth. The client holdings report is awesome. There's so much information in here. You can run it right in screen. You can change the sort order for any of these columns. Again, not a lot of useful information in here because this is our test financial professional, but definitely a great tool. I use it probably daily for, investigating and wanting to take a look at things for financial professionals. So those are all options out here, lots of different reports and then filters. You could create filters till you just can't create anymore. There's no end filter, I don't think. I don't think anyone's used all the combinations out there. So that's your advisor reports. Under admin, we talked about client settings. Let's go to, see what this is here. Very rarely you're going to use this. This is your data tools option. So this is where if for some reason the product company is sending us accounts without a social, it's going to come here and you're just going to have to assign a social to that client. I've done it maybe 3 times in my 5 years or 6 years that I've been here. But it is out here in case you feel like you're missing something. I'm going to go back to client settings here. So we talked about just the basics for the reporting, but there's a lot of other options up here, and I wanted to make sure that we touch base on these. So asset classifications, this is a way for you to customize your reports a little more. I don't see a lot of people using it, but it is an option out here. We've got benchmarks, so you can add benchmarks to global benchmarks. This will show up for all reports across your book of business. You can also create composite benchmarks here as well. You can update cost basis information here. You can add models, or we can create report packages. So if you really like certain reports that are available from Allbridge and you want to create one package out of all of them, you can come in here and create a report package. So let's just go ahead and create one. Nice thing about this is if you are doing a batch job and you want that batch job to have like a cover page and not just a few pages of reports, but add a cover page with their address, table of contents, that kind of thing. You can add it by creating a report package. So let's go ahead and create one. And you'll give the report a name. So, and I probably shouldn't use Sommer test because I use that a lot. I'm going to use Steinbeck test. Okay, so mailer page is an option. Cover page is, again, like I said, it's going to have your logo, your return, or your address, the client's address, table of contents. So we've got the cover page. We'll do holdings by classification, holdings by investor, portfolio snapshot summary, and we'll push all of those together. And so we'll say, all right, I want it to be the portfolio snapshot summary first, holdings by classification last, and then holdings by investor in the middle. Once I have that the way I want it, I can say create. So if I go back to my book of business and run a report for Jeremy, and so I'll go to run reports here. And we're going to see that Steinbeck test here. We'll do 1 quarter trailing. We're going to export this and take a look at that. And it'll take just a second to upload here. And so here we have prepared for Jeremy Booth, and I am Hummus Financial. The name of the report is Steinbeck Test, and it's for the Booth Lyons household. And then we've got the table of contents. And then we'll scroll down here. My Adobe is a little slow. Sorry about that. So we've got the portfolio snapshot summary here. And then we jump right into holdings by investor, and then should be holdings by classification right after that, with one set of disclosures at the very end. So I'm not having to go in and run all 3 reports for the client with a set of disclosures at the end of each report. Everything is right here in one. So that is report packages. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Andrew.
Hi. Not with regards to this, but it's I've noticed that at times when I update an address at the fund level, it doesn't update inside the client profile.
Yeah. So that can take some time. It can take an end of the month refresh. I would just come in and update it here as well, unless you want to wait. But yes, you can definitely come in here and just edit the client details. I'm sorry, edit the client information and then edit the client profile. Um, it just, it's a funny timing game when it comes to editing addresses. When you update it with the fund company, it takes a little bit of time to update with us.
Okay. Like how little bit of time?
It can take an end of the month refresh. So if you update
Got
it
it.
on
Okay.
May the 1st, it can take the whole month.
Got it. Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
I would add on that, if you update it at the end of the month, so even say the 20th, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will have made that update in all their systems for that data to flow over. So sometimes we have seen it take, upwards around 45 days, depending on
Yeah,
when all the dominoes fall.
good point. Any other questions? Yes, Tom?
So I am just little old me. So
Okay.
this presentation is just sort of, gobsmackingly like overwhelming for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just wondering, um, besides your technical expertise, is there a mechanism where we have like access on an hourly basis for Summer's greatest hits? Or I mean,
Yes.
how do we get help trying to figure out what we should, make as a customizable reports?
Sure. We are always happy to do one-on-ones too. So if you want to really focus in on your clients, like right now, I'm just using a demo financial professional. I didn't want to share anyone's private information, but if you wanted to have a one-on-one with a member of the team, just give us a call or send us a case or an email and ask for that. And we can really focus in on your own book of business and go through, ways to customize it for your clients. And then you've also got videos out here that you can, listen to if you wanted to. We will have, like I said, individual little 5-minute videos of, okay, here's creating a report package, and this is, messing around with report designer. So if you don't want to do a one-on-one, those will be out here eventually.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It is a lot of information all at one time. So,
Summer,
mhm,
and for the group here, if there's questions, please raise your hand. I always come with some because I like to drill on Summer here and just make sure she's on
mhm,
her toes. Um, let's say a financial professional has created a new split rep code, and I'm
yeah,
going to start doing business with my partner. I'm going to move my direct business. I'm going to move some other business out there, maybe my Fidelity business, over to the split rep code. How's that impact what I see in CR statements, and how do I stay in front of it?
yeah. Great question. So that's a big impact if you're changing all your business to splits. We have to do a lot of back end work. A lot of product companies don't send accounts under split business or split codes. A lot of product companies send accounts under codes that don't even make sense to the system. So we have to manually go in and maintain those accounts. So if you are changing your rep code from an individual rep code to a split rep code, opening a case with us and saying, hey, this is coming, is definitely something that I would do. We will go in and make sure that the product company has updated the rep codes to something that can be mapped to you or to the other financial professional. Sometimes we have to override the rep codes they send them in on. I saw a couple people on this list that I do this for weekly, that I go in and make sure that the accounts are feeding in properly. And if they are, then I update the rep code to a code that can be mapped to all 3 reps on that code. and then I make sure that that gets mapped out properly. But if you're buying a book of business, that's another thing too. Those clients are logging into their current rep, and if they change over to you, we need to make sure that their access stays active and moves to you. Unfortunately, the direct business moves really fast. I'm sorry, direct business moves pretty slow. The brokerage accounts are quick, a couple, 3 days. So the client might be in kind of a weird limbo where they can log in and only see their direct business. And then once we update their access to you, then they're logging in and only seeing their brokerage account business until those direct accounts are updated to the correct rep code. So it's always a good idea to open a case with us if something major is going to change in your office.
Summer, and a primary advisor update. That is just when Denver has invited the clients and then Sommer has bought my book. All those clients need to be registered under you. Is that how I?
They won't need to be re-registered. I'm just going to move them. So if I buy your book of business, I'm going to move your clients from me or from you to me. And so that when they log in, they're seeing me and my information as their primary advisor.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Again, if you guys, if I trigger any questions with you, please raise your hand. Summer, how about new lines of business? So I'm a financial professional. I've done my first new business with Fidelity as an example. What do I need to do with you? And again, how does that compare to if I use a third-party money manager, or maybe I'm going direct first time I'm doing business?
Yeah. So Fidelity business is tricky. Third-party money managed business is a little tricky too sometimes. There's a lot of linking that has to be done on the back end for Fidelity, for Schwab. And they have to make sure that the accounts are linked to Cambridge, and then we have to make sure that they are mapped properly once they get here. So third-party business, they send their accounts. Third-party Schwab business send accounts under their own main master. And then we have to go in and update those rep codes so that we can map them to the financial professional, because we can't map a main master for Mariner to a financial professional, or they're going to see everybody's business. So if you feel like you're missing something, especially when it comes to Schwab or Fidelity and third party, we try to keep up with those third parties. We check those accounts weekly. But we may not realize that an account's not feeding to us because it's not linked properly at Schwab or Fidelity. So if you feel like you're missing something, let us know and we can reach out to Fidelity and or Schwab and get that resolved. And once they're linked properly, a few days.
Thank you.
Mhm. Is there any other questions? I just threw a ton of information at you and
No more questions? All right, we'll go with that. Sommer, Denver, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. If you guys need any help, please reach out. If you
yeah.
don't have their information, reach out to me. I'm happy to direct you that way.
Yeah, so you can open cases for the performance reporting team. You can send an email to performancereporting@cir2.com, and we'll put it into a case. We want to be as easy to work with as possible. So again, if you need that one-on-one time and really go into your book of business, take advantage of it. We are happy to do that. Thanks,
Thank you so much
Jennifer.
for your time. Thank you.
Have
Thank
a
you,
good day, you
guys.
guys.
You guys too.